Now, from the downtown of Northwest Arkansas, in Uptown Rogers, with weather from Bentonville to Fayetteville, Fort Smith, and beyond, here's Oz weather meteorologist, Garrett Lewis.
Hey, what is happening? It's 3 o'clock on a Saturday afternoon on May 4th. You know, it's May, and when it's May, there are storms. And when there are storms in May, they can be strong and sometimes severe. So far, so good for us. The atmosphere is not totally unstable and firing off all kinds of severe weather, but it is pretty stormy out there. We've got several showers and storms that have been affecting us throughout the day. This a live look towards Uptown Rogers. That's looking northbound at I-49. You can see the spray from all the vehicles that are out there and also some of that low cloud cover from storms that are moving in. So I thought what we do is just take a look at some of the storms that are out there and then what to expect here as we head into the next couple of hours and well, even the next couple of days. So what we actually have is a boundary that's stalled out. Now, on that boundary, these disturbances will move over it, and each time they do, they're going to cause showers and storms. That's one trigger for the storms. The second trigger is daytime heating. That's what we're experiencing now with some of the thunderstorms that are set to move through. So let's go over to radar and take a look at it and see what's happening here. There's a look at the scattered rain showers that are out there, out around Rogers and Centerton. It looks like a heavier cell out there just to the northeast side of Rogers. Before we start zooming in, I wanted to get a wide view here, kind of show you what this looks like. There's a severe cell south of Little Rock. There's also one that's west of Mountain Home. So they haven't been completely non-severe today, but it certainly looks like the overall risk of storms hasn't been that great as far as severe weather goes, looking at damaging winds and hail. You'll see a lot of low clouds. We call this stuff scud. You've got one coming over Rogers now. They're on the left side of the screen. These low-hanging clouds are usually on the leading edge of the storm. What's interesting, though, is if you see clouds that are rising into it, when clouds start rising up into the lowering in the base, that's an indication you're at the very bottom of the updraft. And when there's enough shear, it's actually a wall cloud. So technically, by definition, it's a wall cloud because it's the inflow. But you don't have that twisting in the atmosphere, so it's not a wall cloud that would produce a tornado or anything like that. Why don't we go ahead and look at radar and see if there is any rotation that's out there. This is a look at radar again. I'm going to go to the stronger one first that's out there on the northeast side of Rogers. It's out by Avoca, east of Little Flock, and north of Prairie Creek, looking at some of these storms. Where's this at? West High Meadows Drive out there on Terra Lane. Looks like it's moving into Prairie Creek North Road. So you're out there by Prairie Creek Marina, just off of 62. On the east side of 62 is where it's really heavy. That's the northeast side of Rogers, kind of removed from downtown Rogers, at least for the time being. Those storms are going to be tracking eastward, but we have more rain that's about to move into Rogers too, out from the west. We had some showers that were touch and go out around Bentonville. You can see them move through. They mostly affected the south side of Bentonville more so than the north side. A lot of folks in town mountain biking, and of course, the trail's pretty muddy out there. You have to keep an eye on the weather really over the next week or two, just because it's going to be changing so rapidly with the possibility of numerous rounds of thunderstorms that are going to be moving on in from the west in a very active weather pattern. The overall pattern is going to be really, really active. So let's stop the radar here. What else we got? We got these storms that are out there around Highfield. This is out at the airport at X&A on 12 and 264. Heavy rain moving in right down Healing Springs Road out there over towards, let's see what we got. Duke Hill Road and Northeast 18th Street. That is north of 264. The airport's actually right here. You can kind of see the turnaround. And then they got that little parking lot. Have y'all ever parked in that thing? If you park there, you can see the arriving and departing flights. If you're an aviation dork, it's kind of fun. Right in here. I'll take my son out there sometime to watch planes. Of course, I did that when I was a kid as well. But we also have these storms that are coming into Siloam Springs. This one's more lined up east to west, and so I think you're going to get a lot of heavy rainfall that moves into Siloam Springs here as they trend and track on in. That's going to be moving in pretty much right down 412. So I guess we get more of this stuff out around Springdale. You can see it in Siloam Springs. How about any new let's check out velocity real quick, see what this looks like. Curious about the wind speeds. Yeah, there's a new special weather statement here that expires in 28 minutes. Let's see what this thing says. They're looking at gusty winds to about 40 miles an hour. They're tracking this thing east at about 20 miles an hour. Looking at frequent lightning as the storm moves through, but not really looking at much in the way of any kind of tornado or rotation threat with it. I'm looking at this. I'm looking for these greens and reds right in there. It's interesting here, huh? Pretty strong. We got some strong gusty winds here near Highfill and Rocky Comfort. Of course, that makes sense. That's kind of where that dark shading is with some of the darker colors. X and A is probably getting some really interesting wind gusts right about now. Let's see if we can pull up the ASOS site out there and see what's going on. How's all Saturday going? The rain showers out there, it's kind of putting the pause on some stuff, isn't it? Some of the baseball games. My son's got a lacrosse game later on this evening I'm going to be going to. See how that goes. I'm going to try to pull up the ASOS here, get an idea of what the wind speeds are out at XNA. Hasn't reported just yet. ASOS is Automated Surface Observation Site. So those sites are quality controlled from the National Weather Service, and that stuff's great. Just because it's not, it filters out everything. It's above vegetation. It's in the shade. A lot of times you can see, you drive by a mall or maybe even a bank, and you see the temperature outside, and it shows like 105 or 112 in the summertime, and it's like it's not 105 or 112. The asphalt tends to raise the temperatures out around it, so sure enough, when you're around stuff like that, you do get a little bit of an uptick in the temperatures, especially over parking lots. And hey, to be fair, some of these mall parking lots or big store parking lots, the temperature can be like 140 degrees over the blacktop. It's hot. That's why you don't want to walk Fido in the summertime either. I pulled up the 5 minute weather updates every 5 minutes. This is kind of fun. I can post this in the feed here in a little bit if you want. I wonder if I can just put it's going to look like the screen that I have, but who cares? So as far as these updates go, I'm looking at highest wind speed so far is northwest at about 7. So we don't have anything that's damaging. Of course, that was at 310. It's 319 now. So as we move into the um, next hour or so, we'll see how this thing shakes out. I wonder if there's any cameras that are out that way that we can see. I can take you to the 612 interchange camera that's out there. This is a little farther to the south, but you can see some of the low clouds that are starting to move in. We also have some of those thunderstorms that are out there around Huntsville, too. That storm in Huntsville is also tracking out towards the east northeast. There's another look at it. Take a wide view, too. So these things just flare up. These are pulse severe storms, so it's not like they're going to be lasting very long. We do have some more rain that's out there to the west of Fort Smith. This looks a little more organized. That weak boundary is just kind of camping out. Let's take you to this first. You can see it just west of Fort Smith. Now I'm going to take you to analyst. We'll get a little deeper into this thing here. All right, so there's the storm. Let's hit pause on it. Storm in Harrison is severe. I wonder what they got going on here. Let's look and see. Wind or if it's hail. There may even be some iDrive cameras out there. It looks like there's some gusty winds out there around Bergman, so that's on the northeast side of Harrison. Looks like. Um, yeah, there's one camera there. It is looking south out around Cricket Creeks. You know how when you leave Silver Dollar City and you drive south and you go over that bridge, you can't really see much though, so it doesn't really tell us much of anything. It also looks like there's some hail in this. The hail size on this is right around an inch, maybe just a little bit smaller than an inch. There's also 1 inch hail on this. I wouldn't be surprised if we got a warning on this one here near Marble. That's really some fairly large hail that's there. Um, over 1 inch, 1.3. So that's just larger than quarter size hail. But you guys have got some hail going on out there around 412. Let me get you some streets that are being affected. Um, see if it's going on where you live here. So it's that dark pink and purple color just south of Marble. So this is looks like it's east of Horn Mountain and Madison 2405. I bet those are poultry houses. What do you bet? Um, Madison 2315, kind of rural, generally just south of Marble, though. There's 21 running south out through Purdy. There's likely some hail within that. Let's get a little bit more. There's the cell near Heifel, getting a little louder. Tracking in west to east here, right down 264. It was some hail with it around Rocky Comfort too, it looks like. See if I can show you some maximum estimated hail sizes on this thing too. Hail is going to be running right on 264, it looks like. And then making this. And I'll also take go back to a different camera shot. I'm gonna loop this. You guys are like, what is he looking at here? All right, so there's a line of storms that are heading into Siloam Springs. I think you can see them starting to move on into the area. Got it on a different radar source here. Let me back over to this one here. I had that on Marble. There we go. So you can see that line of storms coming into Silent Springs. I bet we get a flare up of a severe thunderstorm out of some of this stuff, especially some of these ones that are moving into Rogers, and even that one out around Huntsville that looked pretty strong. They tend to pulse up, flare up, and then die down, and so you don't really get a whole lot in the way of sustained warnings here for a long period of time. Tell you what I'm going to do here in a second. I'm going to call my good friend David Latanzio. He lives just north of me, and we're both kind of weather dorks, and we've been watching this afternoon. So I wanted to take a look at that and see what he's seeing out there. Let me see if I can get another shot on the camera real quick for you. Back up towards Bellevue and Uptown. So the rain's starting to pick up a little bit. I saw it out around Walton too, with those showers that are developing and moving on through. Take you back to radar. I'm gonna call David and see what's up.
Hello, this is David.
Hey, David, I've got you on streaming here. We were chatting by text earlier, watching these storms. Pretty gnarly out there, huh?
I got the iPad up watching your stream. First of all, thanks for all you're doing for all of us locals. I got lightning to the west. Where am I at, Garrett? Wallace Road in Rainbow.
Okay. Yep.
Just north of 264. Looks like that high fill.
Mm-hmm.
It's been its way through here. And I have a lot of thunder and a lot of visible lightning, air to ground lightning right now.
Yeah. So I'm not just south of you, just north of 264. I'm southwest of Pinnacle, and I can hear the thunder starting to pick up. We haven't had any hail. Do you guys get any hail yet? It looks like it's probably just now starting to move in.
No, earlier on we had a good shower, but right now the winds are calm, no hail. The system really hasn't arrived to my house where I'm at right now. I'm waiting patiently.
I'll put you on the spot. Tell me about this MMRS stuff that you're doing.
Say that again?
Tell me about this. Is it MMRS, the radio?
GMRS. Yeah,
GMRS. I'm sorry. Yeah.
I have my GMRS radio right here. It's for those folks who are familiar with ham radio, it's much junior to that. It's a statewide radio system that a couple of individuals have started here in Arkansas. Mason, first name, and Chris, I think, kind of ex or current TV tower kind of guys who climb those towers for those different TV stations. Anyways, we built a network for GMRS statewide where you can pretty much communicate with anyone in the state, especially for significant events like storms, tornadoes, floods, or some kind of natural emergency. I'm monitoring that radio right now and making sure their systems are working, doing a lot of different radio checks and so forth right now.
Yeah, see, I mentioned earlier to you, I'm a ham radio operator. I'm not as active as I used to be. I'm Kilo Delta 5 Oscar Mike India for the hams that are out there. But we have the they have the Skywarn net. I guess you guys are doing this on GMRS too, right?
Yes, but all of our towers have Skywarn attached to them, and I say our towers, their towers. And it's really cheap to join compared to ham radio. There's a lot of rigorous testing to go through, as you know. This one's a $35 FCC license, and it's good for you and everybody related to you to use legally on the air. It's super easy to program as well. What are you thinking about tonight, Garrett?
It's interesting, David. I think we're going to get a little bit more rain. We'll have a bigger area of showers. Let me see if I can pull these models up real quick. I had it. Let's see, this one. I got all these new buttons, and I'm not sure sometimes what happens, so it's always kind of guess and see. But so I have the model data pulled up here. This is the high resolution North American model. This is where we are now, so you can see the storms. That front, you can almost make out that little line. That's the front that's in the area, but there's a system lifting out of Texas that moves through, and this is tomorrow morning at about 6 and 7. So I think it's going to be pretty much a wash the first part of the day tomorrow. Today it's been so scattered, but we get more of that rainfall and probably some heavier storms through the afternoon. It looks like it lets up sometime towards the evening, and then we clear out a little Monday, and then there's another big line. By the way, that's probably going to be tornadic in Kansas and Oklahoma on Monday evening, and that's going to get here Monday night. So the whole pattern is super active. But again, this is the image I'm showing now is for overnight into the first part of the day for tomorrow with those storms that are moving through. Anyway, I'm interested in the GMRS, David. So I'll have to get with you.
Let's talk about it more. It's definitely a great way to keep up with what's happening right in the moment. And the media can be a few minutes to several minutes behind on what's actually happening,
Hmm.
which is okay. But these radio systems really tell you what's going on in the exact moment to keep families safe, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Stuff that probably interests you and I a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. Or maybe we'll do a post together on it or something. It'd be fun to do.
Yeah, no,
Shoot some video.
thanks for the call. I'm going to go back to your stream here. Appreciate it. If anything changes, I'll send you a text.
All right, I appreciate it so much. That's David Latanzio, a good friend of mine, also a weather spotter and a GMRS guru, which he told me about. I actually didn't know about it, but ham radio is great for communications. You remember when the cell phones went down? Everybody thought it was the end of the world. These ham radios were usually the backup, but it sounds like GMRS is an easier to obtain type of radio system. I'll get with David and we'll put something together and I'll put it up on the Oz website. Take you over to Silent Springs real quick. You saw it on radar there. It looks headlights are on. It's so dark out there. Doesn't look like the wind's there yet. Maybe a little bit out around the flag. Nasty little storm though. These things are really flaring up. Oh, look at that one. Remember that one we were talking about in Madison County near Marble? It's severe now. I bet it's severe based on hail criteria. Let's see. They've got it moving east at 15, winds to 60, and yes, quarter size hail, which is essentially what we were just talking about a moment ago with this thing. So it is a severe storm here, northern Madison County, out towards Marble. This is moving down 412. Looks like the one in Harrison is also severe. So that was also the one that we looked at here a second ago. So let's do the same thing locally and let's see if we've got anything going on. I'm take a wide view. There's nothing really going on in the Fort Smith area, Ozark, Paris. Nothing really there. There's some stuff to the west. We've got a thunderstorm here near Winslow that's developing, but it looks like the heaviest here is coming in over northern Benton County. Really, Benton County is getting the most of it. Hey, did you get a chance to go out to the farmers or not farmers market? Well, I guess it was this morning out in Bentonville, but First Friday I saw yesterday was going on in Bentonville too. I didn't make it to either First Friday or the farmers market, but I'm hoping to do it soon. I love this time of year. There's not only the farmers market here, you've got one over in downtown Rogers, you have one in Garrison Avenue in Fort Smith. Hey, you got to support local businesses, guys. Local is what it's all about. All right, so this is the cell that I'm interested in west of Cave Springs, and I'm going to look at winds. Hey, we have some winds with this stuff. That dark green color there indicates some stronger winds. I've got some neighborhoods on here. So this is southwest of Beauchalet and west of the Creeks RV Park. So you know how when you're going up and down 112 there, you've got the golf course and all those RVs that are there. The stronger winds are just to the west of that, and they're moving east. So it's basically coming right down 264. You're probably hearing some of that lightning and thunder. Let's see if the dogs are, they're not happy about it. I've got two dogs. One doesn't care. The other one is freaks out anytime she hears thunder. I mean, loses her mind. Love her, Willow. Yeah, she's over there panting. She needs a doggy downer or something, I think. I'm back on the wind speeds here, and this caught my eye. Let's see what this thing's doing. You can see the reds and greens here. Just taking a look at that. It'll be interesting to see what happens here. When you take a look at the radar site, go back to this one and zoom into Siloam Springs here. I've got two different programs. By the way, the programs I'm running, they cost money, but anybody can get them. This one I'm looking at here is Radar Omega. This is a subscription service. It runs on desktop. It's awesome. I can look at a bunch of different parameters. I can switch radar. The other one I was looking at is Gibson Ridge Analyst. This is a one-time fee, and the data actually comes from the government. I've subscribed to some of the data, and maybe I'll do another post on all my little weather gadgets and gizmos. Some of you guys might be interested in following along with this stuff. And even the model data that I pulled up earlier, this is all from the National Weather Service. There is another model site that I'll sometimes show. It's called Weather Bell. It's a subscription service. But it has the reason a lot of these are subscription too on the models is because they have proprietary data. The Euro model, so in the United States, everything's free and everything's free. The government gives all the data free to all the citizens. They don't do that in Europe. So the European model is proprietary, and you can only access that through subscriptions. And that's also a product that I don't show on here just because it is proprietary, and I might mention it from time to time, but it's not something I can show. All right, so I'm looking at the rotation here, if there is any. focusing in here on Siloam Springs. I've got 21 frames loaded. I'm going to change this to 7. Let me show you guys what I'm looking at. And I'm going to loop this. This is radar Omega. Yeah, a little bit of spinning going on, not much. Back over to this product. It's not like there's a bunch of big storms out there, but it is Saturday, and at the time, I just saw some cool weather and thought we'd just talk about it for a little bit. So, um, thanks for joining me this afternoon. It's kind of fun doing this, isn't it? Not having to cover up any TV or golf or anything like that. So win-win. So the radar I have chosen for the time being is Fort Smith, and what I'm looking at the winds. You can the easiest way to think about Doppler radar is the red shift in outer space. Hang on, let me explain. So stars are all moving away. That's a red shift moving away, and green moving towards. So when you see reds and greens next to each other, you've got one moving away and then one moving towards you. That indicates some kind of rotation. If these two colors were actually flip-flopped and you had green and red, that would be an indication of a microburst because you would have the red moving out and then the green moving towards. So it's just the opposite. So that's how we can tell the difference between rotation and microburst. There actually is a little bit of weak rotation, very broad rotation in that storm west of Siloam Springs. Don't think it's anything that would cause a tornado or anything. If I isolate it, I can show you where it is just north of Dripping Springs and northwest of West Siloam Springs. Yeah, that's a pretty strong sell. I bet we get a warning on this one probably for Benton County. We'll see. I know the Weather Service is watching all this. It is along the front though. There's a lot of lightning, a lot of thunder with it too. Looks like this is going to be moving into Springdale. Boy, I wonder if the kiddo is going to have lacrosse tonight. You know, my kid's game's at 6 out there at the Tyson Fields in Springdale. And I've learned a lot about lacrosse because I had no idea. I played football growing up, and I was very uncoordinated. And so the coach just said, "Hey, you're going to be defensive end. All you have to do is find the football and hit the guy and knock him on the ground." And it was easy enough for me. I tried basketball. I'm 6'4", but I was terrible at it, so I stopped playing that. But anyway, so my son plays lacrosse, and it's his last game before the championship game out there around Springdale this evening. And they actually have leagues now. Rogers got their first lacrosse team this year. Bentonville's got an awesome lacrosse team. We get beat by them all the time. Fayetteville's got a lacrosse team, and so does Springdale. So kind of a new and interesting sport. Kids these days, right? Changing things up a little bit. We go back to look at this again. Curious what this thing is doing, how this is evolving. Watching that little guy right there near Siloam Springs. The outbound winds aren't that strong, the dark red colors, which is good. How about hail? Ooh, we do have some hail. Maximum estimated hail size is going to take us to just under an inch. This is actually just below, looks like just below severe criteria that's out there. Tell you else what I'm going to do. I'm going to pull up the old Facebook feed and let's just see what y'all are talking about here. These storms are all going to be moving into Springdale, Lowell, Rogers, Bentonville, Cave Springs. Looks like more South Rogers, um, more so than the north side of Rogers. Let's see here. Check out this shot from Southeast 14th. This is cool. That is looking southbound. So on the right side of the screen, you've got those storms that are starting to move on in. Of course, you get off on 14th. It seems like 14th is even busy nowadays on a Saturday. It's too busy out there. Go a little farther south here. I'm curious what the Walton shot looks like from Walton Boulevard. There's I-49. No crashes yet, but when it sprinkles, sometimes people crash. It's just the way it works sometimes, it seems like. Take you back over to radar. I'm gonna loop this. We got 1 inch hail yet? No, we're still below severe limits on this thing that's moving in. So I'm gonna loop this real quick, and then I'm gonna go back over to the Facebook, where everybody's so friendly. They are now. They won't be later. Hey, there it is. All right, so let's see what we've got. What time, Tawny Town? Right now. Heck of a way to spend your Saturday, tracking weather. Hey, it's fun. This is a hobby now. It's not. I don't have to be tethered to the desk. It's kind of fun. Vian, Oklahoma. Doesn't look like you guys have much out there. Well, you got a little bit out to the west. That looks like more rain that's going to be there. That's moving in. Pat says it's quiet in Y City. That's certainly good for us, right? Nice to have some quiet weather. Let's see. Siloam storm's really coming up though. Let's see here. All right. Change the title that way people know what I'm doing. So when you go back to the Facebook, I've already been on here for 25 minutes. Man. Mia's asking about Fort Smith tonight. Oh yeah, you do have the Steel Horse Rally. Watch out for those motorcyclists. It's easy to miss them in the background. And the IC Festival. You guys know when you schedule that IC Festival, you guys are scheduling rain each time. It seems like anyway, right? So I think we'll catch a break later this evening. A lot of this is being driven. It's being driven by two parts: the front and also the daytime heating. So we lose daytime heating, we lose some of this. And it's going to be a little bit better. Um, Folks in Salem Springs talking about will they issue a warning? Not yet. The winds arrived in Springdale. Amanda's saying it's been humid. It has been humid. Hasn't it been sticky out there? It reminded me I need to plan our beach vacation at some point. Go here. A lot of strong winds in Salem Springs. Notice how this little red area is pushing north. It tells me it's actually fanning out. So you do have some gusty winds that are surging northward there. Want to go back to the Salem Springs camera? We're at the Emily says we're at the track meet. Everybody's in the car waiting. Isn't that a bummer? Man. How about Johnson at the new park? I haven't been out there to the new park in Johnson yet. I've been out to Mount Hebron. Y'all been out that way? Man, that park is awesome. Check it out if you haven't done that before. Let's go over to some of these cameras. Let's see what's going on out there. I'm curious what the Salem Springs camera looks like. Guys, if you're just on the Facebook and you're like, why is Garrett on? Or we have tornadoes everywhere? No, we don't. We're just tracking some storms, and this is mostly for you weather fans that are out there. This is Salem Springs. It is raining cats and dogs. It doesn't look like we have a lot of wind just by looking at the trees out there in the background. Although I'm sure north of town it's quite a bit gustier. I don't see any hail ping-ponging around on the ground either. Back over to analysts. It does look like it's growing though, doesn't it? There's a nasty little storm out there over Salem Springs. Bentonville, guys, we're kind of getting spared now. Out around Centerton on 102. Had that storm out there around LaRue, southeast of Avoca, and some west of Bethel Heights and Elm Springs. Want to see what's going on there? Let's take a look. By the way, the cameras too. I don't know if you guys know this. Have you downloaded the iDrive Arkansas app? You need to do that. It's great for not only traffic information, but also for these cameras. I'll tell you what, before I go to work, I check iDrive every morning because usually I have to find a different route. This is Pleasant Grove, so the storms are just now moving in here. That's looking south. The storm would come in from the right side of the screen. No, but it's great to have it publicly available and be able to look up these cameras and see what's going on. I can't tell you how many times I've avoided accidents just by checking in on the camera before I head out the door to see what's happening and whether or not I'm going to be stuck in a backup. Because you know how 49 is, man. You get these backups and they last forever, it seems like. This is out around Elm Springs. It's over there by the Walmart. It's on the left side of the screen there. It looks like it's quite a bit heavier just to the north of Elm Springs. Seeing that. So it's also heavier west of Elm Springs. You can see it on radar right there. So north of 412 seems to be quite a bit heavier there. I'm going to go a little farther south here. Let's see if we can find the Sunset exit. And Springdale hasn't rained here yet. Well, I mean, I bet we had a shower earlier today, but it hasn't been heavy yet. But it is coming in. Bethel Heights, you guys are going to get it too. Some very heavy rain moving in that direction. Why don't we take another look too at that data for tomorrow, just to give you guys an overview of how this is going to play out. So the first part of the day tomorrow is going to be soggy. So here's the scattered rain today. Here's where we are now. You got this front in the area. It's stalled. It's rainy. Overnight, though, this disturbance lifts up from the south right in here. And as it lifts north, it's going to cause widespread rain to break out. This time here is in the morning. So we're looking at Sunday morning. If you're headed out to church early on, you're going to run into these problems with these showers. And then it's probably going to last through your brunch and through the early afternoon, through at least one or two. And then it starts to let up. And then we catch a break. I think most of the day Monday is going to be okay for us, almost a bit of a lull until Monday night, and that's when this next system moves through. It's like a firing squad here of just active weather, just one after another. Of course, we have these showers now, and typically in the summertime, no one really cares, right? I mean, it's just a thunderstorm. But in May, it's much more active, and you get a lot more. Um, you just get more violent storms. To be honest, you have more instability, you have more wind shear, and you get more storms that way. So these are forming on the front and with daytime heating. Looks like we're starting to get this in Elm Springs and Lowell, maybe just south of 264, a little bit more there. Probably have a good shot out there around the 612 interchange. See what it looks like. Boy, rain curtains coming down. Hey, no accidents though. That's always good. Look how green things are. I posted this a couple days ago on where we are as far as rainfall totals go, and rain totals are actually uh, pretty good right now. We're near normal or above normal, both north and south. So that's great. It's always good to be above normal with rainfall, especially as you get into the summer months. There's that wind I was watching in Siloam Springs. I'm going to back out of this a little bit more here and take you back over to reflectivity. And let's just look at some streets that are being affected here by some of the heavier storms. So here it is in motion for you real quick. See as it tracks in? Boy, we are going to get some heavy, heavy rain out around Highfield, Elm Springs, and Siloam Springs. This is lined up west to east. So there's gonna be a lot of rain as this thing, I mean, it's moving almost due east, it looks like. So why don't we look at some streets here in Siloam Springs? You guys in Siloam are probably watching this thinking, hey, quit talking random stuff, dude. Um, I'm going to zoom in here. Where are we? We are on East Valley Drive. Very heavy rainfall there out towards North Dogwood Street, Cherie Whitlock Drive, North Mount Olive Street. You've got it out towards North Hico Street, Country Club Road that runs out towards the north there by Siloam Springs Lake. 59 North. Really, the heaviest though is just north of the casino there. I wish that iDrive camera was pointed a little more to the up towards the sky. If it was towards the sky, we would see a lot more. We'll check out this one, and then we'll go back to the Pedro camera. You just don't see much. The casino sign's up there at the top of the screen. It's like right there behind that little live logo. Let's see if we can go to the other one on 412 and see what's going on. This is on the Illinois River. Hasn't really hit there. Well, it is a little bit. You can see some of that rain that's starting to move in. Look how green everything is. Isn't that great? I love it when we have wet weather and we get that beneficial spring rainfall. So that's going to be tracking east, north of Siloam Springs. We're in North Dogwood on 43, kind of bends back towards the west. It's really coming down there. That's going to be, streets aren't populating, just west of Birdie Creek Road, West Hat Creek, Lawless Road as well. And then you have some more hail that looks like it's moving in towards, I bet those are poultry houses. It's Turkey Road. So if I was on Final Jeopardy and I saw a road named Turkey Road leading to some perpendicular rectangles, I'd bet the farm that these are poultry houses. And they probably have turkeys. Let's see here. They've got this moving east at 15. Radar indicated that from the Weather Service. There's a new scan, new update. Really coming down in Siloam Springs right now. Elm Springs, Tawnytown. Boy, Elm Springs is getting it. You guys out there around 112. This is also a speed trap. Be careful. There's Lake Elmdale out there by Heron Crest. There's South Elm Springs Road, Harbor Avenue. Oak Grove looks like it's coming into North 48th Street, Elm Springs Drive. Heavier cell here just to the northwest. That's right on Don Tyson Parkway. Let's check out the camera there. Let's see what that thing looks like. Again, no severe cells with this. Just tracking some weather on a Saturday afternoon. This time of year is it's always interesting with the weather. So here's Don Tyson. Let's see here if we can pull this thing up. There you go. So that's looking northeast from Don Tyson. You have the Blue Cross Blue Shield building on the left. Arvest Ballpark would be on the left. The Sunset exit would be the next exit on the right. You can kind of see where the hotel is there, and then On the left side of the screen's where that way station would be. Remember back in the day, the way station was like the last thing you passed until you got into Missouri? Well, that was a long time ago, wasn't it? Let's take a wide shot here again of the radar of what's happening in that line of storms tracking in. Yeah, but you do have more rain that's out there around McAllister too, so that's going to be moving in. I think you'll see that. I could sneak into Fort Smith a little later. What a downpour, though, huh? Right down 412. 412, 112. Bentonville not getting a whole lot of this stuff. They dropped the warning on that one that was there earlier. Let's see here. So the Don Tyson exit is right there. It's exit 70. Here it is again. How fast these bozos are getting on the interstate. That's why people wreck. The goal for this year was to be a less vocal driver with family in the car. So that's the caveat. Anyway, I'm going into any more details on that. Headlights are on. A lot of spray from the vehicles out there. I'm looking at the trees. I don't see a whole lot of movement with wind. A little bit here and there, not much. Looks like more of just a big soaker that's coming in. Good analyst. Let's check for hail and rotation again on this thing. So let's look for hail first. Got a little bit, just shy of an inch. Right there, right over Heron Crest near Harbor High. Hey, there's Mama Z's. It's some sketty. Just north of that and south of the subdivision Camelot and west of Oak Grove. So that's where the heaviest hail core is. That hail core should be coming over that camera there here in a second. There's the Lynx in Springdale, Arkansas Children's Hospital, the Naturals Ballpark. Actually, the camera is going to be closer to Don Tyson's right here. So it's right in there. There's the Tyson Rec Complex where I'm going to be at 6 this evening. Maybe. I don't know how the field. Well, it's turf now. They turfed the part where they play lacrosse. So I don't know. Maybe we will be out there. Any rotation with this stuff? Let's see. No, but man, we got some wind, huh? All right, so let's loop this. Let's check out these little wind pockets here. These are probably 40-mile-per-hour gusts. These are lawn chair blower overs. Little 3 of them in a row, huh? So we got a strong area of wind right over Elm Springs, tracking towards 49 north side of Springdale. That one's moving in now. And then you have another area of wind south of the airport, and then another one there near Gentry and Springtown. So you got quite a bit lined up there. Not much out towards Johnson Mill. That's a little farther south. Boy, look at those scud clouds. You see them out in the distance? Those can look a little scary sometimes. Back in the TV days, they'd always call and say those were tornadoes, but if they're on the leading edge, they're not. If they're behind the storm, they're a wall cloud and they could be a tornado. But the leading edge is really just that cold air that's pushing out of the thunderstorm. Another good shot of it shows it looking south. Let's see here. So the Fulbright Expressway would be on the left, and you can see some of those low-hanging clouds that are out there that are tracking in. Hasn't rained a whole lot here just yet. Of course, that's more towards the north side of Fayetteville and the south side of Springdale, and most of this stuff has been generally right around the Springdale area. Traffic moving a lot slower there around exit 74, around Wagon Wheel 2. Wagon Wheel North, you can see the low clouds starting to move into this area. Oh, lightning. Y'all gonna hear that? Look at the trees too. They're starting to move a little bit, getting a little tree action going on. That storm near Elm Springs is still the strongest one. You can see it here with the green colors. That's probably 30, 40 knots, maybe 40 miles an hour. It's not severe. Severe would have to be 60. Of course, you can get a good gust of wind with any of this stuff, really, at any time, though. So, I mean, it's always possible to have something like that move in. Take you to mile marker 70. Look at that standing water on the interstate. Grief. Must be a low spot right there. Where it rained just a ton. Traffic's actually moving a lot better than I thought it would. Okay, look at the bottom of the screen if I don't mess it up. Can you see the trees starting to wave a little bit, starting to move a little bit more? Those are some of the gusty winds that are moving in. Here's how it plays out. None of this is spinning. What I'm looking for is the bright green colors. That tells me where the wind is pushing out of the storm quicker. The biggest one I see out there is that one west of Springdale still, near Tawnytown, out towards Elm Springs. It's moving in pretty good. Back to the Facebook. Marble size hail in Elm Springs, according to Tanya. Lots of rain and hail in Salem Springs, says Bessie. So you guys are getting some that are out there. Trying to get to the Naturals game. Asia, sorry about that. You know what though? Hopefully it rains and everything cools off after this, and then you're in great shape. Sometimes the best thing that can happen is to get some rain out ahead of these storms that move through. Not much in the way of big reports that are out there. Ryan wants to know about Fort Smith. Nothing. Nice and clear. The biggest line of storms is right along 412. Bet we get a flood advisory out of this thing too. How much rain you think we're going to get out of this? I bet it's close to an inch in one little area along 412. Maybe developing a little south of Fayetteville too. Got a little around Winslow moving north. That little guy's falling apart. That's not much. And really, there's not that much in Bentonville either. Got some heavy rain in Springdale though. Good night. North of Johnson. Go back over to a camera shot here. Looks like the interstate starting to slow down. Who's shocked by this? Not I. Of course, that white truck was not. They got four-wheel drive. Slow towards the exit. That's looking northbound, so that's southbound traffic there. So maybe they're just now heading into the storm that's there. And see if we can find out some more streets that are being affected by this. And then I'm going to take you back over. Trying to decide what camera you guys think is best here. We could look at either the sunset camera or the Johnson camera on Tyson. Either one is probably good. Here's sunset. Let's see what it looks like. Heavy rain on a Saturday. Doesn't it stink if you're in Sam's Club and you walk out there and you park too far back and you have your whole thing full of way too much stuff that your kids are going to eat and then put back into the cabinet empty? Why do they do that? Does anybody know? My kids will eat. I'm not even kidding. They'll eat like a box of cookies. They'll leave maybe one, sometimes not even one, and then they just put it back in the cabinet. They do it with chips, they do it with cookies. And you know how hard it is if it's like 10 o'clock at night and all of a sudden I've got munchies and I want to go get something to eat and I can't because they've eaten all the Cheez-Its and just put the box back in there. So then I move on to the goldfish and they've eaten all those too. So usually I just go back to bed, probably a little bit healthier. Over high, you guys are getting pounded right now. Ironcrest. It's pretty much where that camera is. Let's see here. Let's go back to Don Tyson and see what it looks like. Yeah, that southbound traffic is a crawl right now. I'm also taking a look at some of the trees. I don't see any winds that are super duper strong. Traffic's really slowing down southbound though, but keep in mind they're coming out of that storm, so they probably already slowed down where the northbound traffic is about to head into it. The hail is down. It's about 3/4 inch hail. So you're looking at dime to quarter size hail that's in there. Again, that's tracking out towards the east. Lots of traffic out there on a Saturday. Of course, you get the rainfall. It's no good. Here's another wide view for everybody. That's may have just jumped in. There's no tornado warnings out there or anything. Just tracking some storms out around Oz. Well, we've had some severe storms. You can see those little yellow boxes pop up, but they've been pulse severe, so they haven't lasted very long, and they typically fall off pretty quick too. Rick says the hail's pounding the house. Ugh. How will the weather be for the Naturals game at 6? Emily, I think it probably is going to be a lot better, and it may even be cool. This is not a sustained rain that you're going to be seeing constantly with this, so that's good. Brandy says there's a camera overlooking harbor to the west. Let's see if we can find that one. That might be a good camera to look at. Got Falcon Road up there. Let's see here. Oh yeah, you can't. They got the hazards on now. Look, this is at Elm Springs. They're having to stop. They can't even. It's torrential rainfall. I mean, it's cats and dogs. Some of these people are pulling over. They can't even drive in this. It's always good to check the wipers too when we head into the spring months. Mine were in bad shape. Of course, all these trucks and dump trucks throw rocks everywhere. Um, so the wiper blades get a little chewed up from the little cracks and creases. Things are really slowing down, huh? You got people pulled over on the side of the road there. I don't think that's an accident. I think it's just such heavy torrential rainfall. Look at the trees too. Well, here's that gust of wind. It's hitting now. I'm gonna look on the radar on another computer real quick and see what we're looking at here. Let's see. Oh yeah, this is it. So there's the wind. That dark green color coming right across 49, right in the middle. It is slowing everyone down there. Of course, the wind doesn't look too terrible to me, does it? I mean, it's moving things around. The rain looks like the bigger story here. You got people barely moving along. I wouldn't stop on the inside lane though, like that dude's doing there, unless it's a cop. Might be a cop. I don't know. No ASP's out here in this mess. Boy, things are moving slow, aren't they? Let's go back. So that's that dark green color that's moving through. I've really been talking for 46 minutes. See, this is why I get carried away with weather. It's just kind of fun. The brightness came down on the green. Did you see that? So it's not quite as strong as it was earlier. Still some hail in it though. It's probably going to be moving right over that camera. So Elm Springs has got it going on the most right now. I don't see any accidents that are out there. It starts about Wagon Wheel and continues to about Falcon Road, south towards the way station. The way station just looks like a joke. I mean, what are we looking at? I can't even tell. The rain is so heavy right now in Springdale. My goodness. That's the way station cam there. They're not moving very fast at all. That dark purple's moving over us in Springdale. Sunset actually looks like it's moving okay. Let's go back to the Elm Springs cam. Did they crash? They may have. Let's see. Trying to figure out what's going on there on the left side. Of course, you have people that are doing 90 because they're skilled in driving in the rain, and then you got people that are scared of driving in the rain. They're doing 10, and then you put them all together, and then you end up with this. We're looking north, so it looks like southbound traffic's moving a lot slower. May have let up a little bit from earlier, but you still got people pulling over. Hail size has come down though. Looking at hail on analyst, it's about half-inch hail, so it's way lower than it was earlier. Little pocket of wind coming up with this guy. That one's gonna get into Fayetteville, y'all. Is that a new storm? Oh, it looks like it was the outflow from the one in Salem Springs that triggered it. But yeah, that's gonna hit Fayetteville. You got about half an hour in Fayetteville or less until that thing moves through. That's gonna come over Farmington. That's gonna hit U of A. So expect that to pick back up here. Let's look at hail. Looks like hail's come down a little bit. Just a little bit of small hail, nothing big. Nothing to write home to mama about. Let's see here. Now the dogs are getting a little antsy. Willow, Kihei, calm down. Y'all are good. And they have their dog breath thing going on. They get scared though and stuff. I tried the thunder blanket. It didn't work that well for Willow. Falcon Road's backed up. Not sure if it's just the exit or if there's an accident. The outside lane though for sure is slow. Real slow. Stopped. Not moving at all. Let's go to street level. Let's see where some of the stronger part of this thing is. You can see where it is. It's right here. It's right near where we were looking at with those cameras. Yeah, it's slow just about everywhere now. Watkins is slow. Sunset, I bet, is slow. Sunset should be slow, but they look like they're flying pretty good. There's 412 running east-west right in there. Some streets being affected by the heaviest. Looking at it along Gene George Boulevard, that's north of Sunset, along Jones Road, McRae Avenue. Here's West Emma, West Sunset, Watkins, Don Tyson Parkway, South Thompson. They're on the east side of town. Sometimes you can sneak around traffic by going down South Thompson. Um, North Stoltz Road, which is just south of Wagon Wheel. But really, the heaviest is over Harbor. Harbor High right now is getting some of the heavier showers and storms that are out there. Looking at it along Tall Oaks Loop, Firefly, Catch Avenue, Harlan Avenue, um, JTL Parkway, Brooklyn Avenue. So this is over there on Sunset, kind of by where the Pilot and the Harps is located. And then you get into Tawnytown, it lets up along Barrington out there by where the post office is. It's a little less there. Here's 112 running north. What a deluge, though. Francis Fair Parkway, Haley Avenue, Central Drive, South 48. There's a new scan. It took the heaviest on the other side of the interstate now. That latest scan has it along North Pump Station Road, Fleming Drive, um, Counts Avenue, Buena Vista Circle, Camino Real. Was that a movie? Oh, no, that was Casino. San Miguel Drive, Bacchus Avenue. Pretty strong storm. That's moving through Springdale right now. And then you got that one to the west. It looks like it's letting up in Siloam Springs, so some better luck for you guys there. Here's another loop of it in a wide view. So you don't have much going on really anywhere else at the moment other than the Springdale and Tawnytown area. We're about to get it in Fayetteville. Bella Vista, it's not even raining. Looks like a new cell just popped up too, south of Fort Smith. Let's see where this guy is. This is out there around Hackett. What? I got fired up quick. Hey, and it's also along 112. It's a different 112. This 112 is really dangerous. That's out there around Rock Island, moving east, coming into 10. Don't think there's any hail with it. Analysts would tell us a little better though. Let's drop south. And there's a little small hail in that stuff. It's estimating close to 1 inch. Yeah, so you got a little hail. That's just south of Rock Island. So in Hackett, you guys are about to get a little bit of hail coming through with that thing. Thunderstorm over Springdale, continuing to truck and track onto the east. Bet we get an inch of rain along 412, guys. It's going to be super rainy, super duper rainy. I'm going to go back to the Facebook, answer some of your questions, and then show you guys the model data one more time in case you missed it the last couple times. Erica says massive lightning bolts in Hackett and it's pouring. Yes, definitely. I saw that. Amanda's saying heavy downpour out around Elm Springs, Silent Grove, and Tyson Park in Springdale. Really bad. That's where I'm headed later tonight, Brandon. Yeah. What direction is it headed again? These are all moving east. The whole front's moving east, but it's going to stall out. This is actually going to be pretty nice because it's really going to clear the atmosphere out for us and lead to some a pretty comfortable weather this evening. I don't think it's going to be that bad at all as far as comfort goes. Humidity should be kind of strong, but it'll move through pretty quick. And it should be a nice, cool evening. It'll settle out the atmosphere, at least for tonight, until the next thing moves on in. Frequent lightning with it, though. It looks like that Fort Smith storm south of Fort Smith. See a little boundary that moved over Spiro right there? You can see it in Panama. I'll stop it. Can you guys see it? Isn't weather cool? The little boundary there is what caused that little storm out around Hackett. Hail size on Hackett is approaching an inch. That's severe. So wouldn't be surprised if we get a little severe warning on that guy that's down there. The one coming into Fayetteville doesn't have much hail in it. Hail's come off a little bit too here in Johnson. Jason says south of Rock Island, he's got hail and rain. Leave that. Let's see how that thing's been going. That one may get up into the south side of Fort Smith. Definitely gets into Greenwood, I think. So you guys in Greenwood, heads up. If you're having a yard sale today, it's going to be moving in, knocking things over. That one over Winslow just kind of fell apart, didn't it? All right, I'm going to take you back over to sunset camera. Let's see what this looks like. Heavy rain, a little bit of hail moving in. No big deal there. It's really dousing us. And then we go back to a wide view. So these showers and storms are all tracking to the east. Oh, yeah, I promise y'all, I'd look at the model data one more time again. So this is the North American model, and again, all these websites here are run by the National Weather Service, and these updates come in at different intervals. There's tons of models on them. In fact, if you want me to watch this, so this is the North American model, but I can really pick from a slew of different models that are out there. So what I'll tend to do in the short range is usually load what's called the HRRR. That's the high resolution rapid refresh, and then I can do simulated radar, and then I can loop it out. Now, the higher the resolution of the model, the less you're going to get as far as timeline goes, because model data gets crummier with time. These are the storms that are out there now along the front, and you can see this is 7 o'clock at night. Looks like most of the stuff is over with here by 7. I don't know. There's a little pop-up stuff in Washington County, isn't there? But the main thing to key in on here is at the very end of the frame right here. See this stuff down here in Oklahoma? This is what's going to be moving north. So that's the high resolution model. I'll take you to the North American model too and show you what that looks like. This is one of a couple of different sites that I use. I'm going to use the 300 millibar winds and kind of give you guys a view. Well, maybe not regional view. Why don't we go to let's look at it from a national perspective. I think it's going to tell us a little bit more about what's happening here. So the 300 millibar winds are jet stream winds. This is where we are at the top of the atmosphere, where we're watching these little loops and waves move through. So what you can see here, see this little wave that's moving through here that's lifting from south to north right there? Let's see if I can show you a little better. There you go. Right there. So that moving through is going to be giving us rain chances for tomorrow with that low in the area. And then by Monday, you've got a lot of energy in the upper levels of the atmosphere. I mean, look at all this stuff swinging in. That's a negative tilt. If it's tilted from northwest to southeast, that's a negative. That also indicates the potential for stronger storms. Positive tilt storms are more rainmakers. Negative tilt storms are more stormers. Produce more severe thunderstorms. So the negative tilt ones are always ones to watch. You can also kind of see how it's phasing a little bit down to the south with the subtropical jet stream. But that's the 300 millibar winds. So that's one of the things I look at when I'm doing some analysis, but also look at the simulated radar. And this is what most of you guys probably see on the TV stations and everything else. And this is the big picture view of the storms that are moving through. So we have that rainfall that's out there now. This is that rain. This is the North American model forecast for tomorrow. Look at that stuff lifting up. So this takes us into tomorrow evening with scattered showers and storms. So rain's on and off pretty much most of the day coming up. And then a little bit of a break. Watch this stuff around Kansas blow up, though. This is coming up in the evening on Monday, right there. That stuff is severe. That's got tornadoes in it. That's moving south. That probably gets into our area coming up sometime Monday night into Tuesday. The North American model only goes out that far. So we got to look at a couple of different ones. Why don't we look at the global forecast solution and we'll just see what this thing looks like. Instead of doing a lot of analysis, I'm going to skip right to radar here. If you're still watching, you might be a weather fan. Everybody else is like, why does Garrett keep talking? Does he like to hear himself talk? Those were the emails I used to get. I don't get those anymore. There's the rain that's coming up tonight. See it moving in? So it's rainy tonight. That system's not a severe system. Doesn't look that bad, really. That moves northeast. Now we'll watch these height falls out to the west around Kansas. Let's see if we can find this thing blow up. Here comes it. Dry line. Boom, right in there. So this is tomorrow afternoon and evening. That line is going to develop and swing southeast. That should move into the area coming up Monday night into Tuesday. But there are more storms that are out there that eventually track on into the area too. This is getting into Tuesday now. That low never really leaves, and that's what's going to cause such an active weather pattern for us. Looks like it tends to favor the overnight more so than anything else. Let me jog through this real quick. So you got those storms Tuesday night to Wednesday. That's Wednesday evening. Wednesday evening could be a little bit stronger. Let me pull that down so you guys can see it right here. Actually, I can probably load the model data. Let's see. This may look weather. May look better. I'll load the GFS here and look at this with rain. I'll just have to zoom out to get a better look at it. So that's the 7th. And then Wednesday's storms doesn't initiate a lot. And that's the problem with a lot of this model data this far out is you really don't get a good picture of it. You have to look at the synoptic pattern, the jet stream, all that stuff to really get a feel for what the atmosphere is doing. I'm looking at top gusts. The highest wind gust at XNA was 26 miles an hour. So it really wasn't that strong as it moved through. Go back to analyst real quick. Hail came up on the Fayetteville one though. Boy, howdy, did it. You're up to 1 inch hail. That's darn near severe. And you got gusty winds. I don't see any rotation. Winds are down here in Springdale and Lowell compared to where they were earlier. But we got a nasty little storm coming into Fayetteville now. Wonder what that thing looks like. Let's just take a peek, shall we? First, let's look from the south looking north into Fayetteville. So you're driving up from Fort Smith. That's the shot where you can, oh, there's the university. There's Fayetteville. It's coming up on exit 60 there. So it's just north of Greenland. That storm, though, looks like it's right over Farmington right now. We've got some gnarly looking shelf clouds out there. Look at this. Look at that stuff moving in. And look a little nasty. You can really tell it's about to storm. And that's right here. Farmington's getting the hail if there is any hail with the storm. The radar seems to think there is. About Razorback Road. What's going on here? Nothing. Nothing yet, but it's fitting to rain in this area. Go a little north here. This is a Technology Way. That's coming up on the Weddington exit, which, in my opinion, may be the longest construction projects in the history of construction. Has this thing been going on for a while? Or I know they're redoing the whole thing. I'm not trash talking RDOT. I know they've got a lot of stuff on their hands. Man, this thing is a mess. Trying to get through here at rush hour is darn near impossible. It's terrible. It's the Weddington exit. Back to radar here. I'll show you the storm as it comes into Fayetteville. This thing's going to move right over Faytown, especially south of 62 and MLK. So more towards the university, I think, more than anything else with this. Let's see some streets that are affected by this. That's the Hackett storm. You guys are still getting it. It's not severe. They've got special weather statements the Weather Service is putting out. I bet they put one out on this Farmington one too. Right over the high school, Double Springs Road, West Main Street in Farmington, Ray's Mill Road, North Royal Street, South Winds Road, 170, South Hunter Street. Really pouring. Again, that's coming right into Fayetteville. So the southwest side of Fayetteville is going to get all this fun here in just a second, which means traffic is going to slow down too as it starts to move in. It's out there around White Rock. Let's see here. Trying to find you guys a shot that shows a little better. It looks like it's starting to rain out around MLK. So the leading edge of that rain is starting to move in. Traffic's moving good now, but it won't be. I'll be going slow here soon. So all these showers are going to be tracking through the area. I've been running my mouth for an hour, so I'm probably going to get off here now. The bottom line with this stuff is there may be a pulse severe storm, but the overall severe weather threat's fairly low. As this moves through, you can see a couple little yellow boxes here and there. If you're wondering about the weather for the rest of this evening, it should start to fall apart after we lose daytime heating, and it should leave us with a pretty cool, albeit humid, overnight. But we get more rainfall tomorrow. So that next round of rain is going to move in during the morning. It'll be with us through mid-morning. It's more of a rain shield, a big blob of rain, as opposed to these little storms, which are flaring up here and there and then dying down. So if you didn't get rain today, you will get rain tomorrow. Most of us will get rain out of the next thing tomorrow. These are more of those scattered storms, although, man, what a rainy day for us along Highway 412. And even some additional storms starting to pop up, and those are tracking north. So we may get some in Bentonville too, it looks like, here coming up as well. So heavy rain in Fayetteville, and then maybe a little bit more in Bentonville later on this evening. Thanks for spending some time with me this afternoon chatting about weather. It's always fun to look at weather. Expect these scattered storms and unfortunately a pretty active week coming up with several chances to get severe weather heading into the next couple of days. Of course, as I'm available, I'll be jumping on and off of here and talking weather and weather in the storm with y'all. Have a good afternoon.